Hey guys, today I am going to be sharing my nail care routine with you. Has been a very requested video. A lot of you have asked me to do this video. The only other video that has been more requested than this is to do a tutorial, which that will be coming for those of you, some of you have asked me. It will be coming. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but it is on my to-do list and will be happening sooner than later. I do want to say a couple of things before we get into this. There's two big things I want to mention. The first one is that I'm sure you guys have noticed, and I'll show you by looking at this side. My nails are longer and they're always longer. I don't have short nails. And I was just honestly blessed and got good genetics, and I have very thick, strong nails, which is why I'm able to grow them so easily. I do use a treatment, but it's not, I hardly ever use a strengthener because I really don't need to. Or that's one thing I can't really give you a whole lot of tips on to like make them stronger because mine are already pretty strong. So I'm sorry about that I can't really give you tips, but at the same time, I am happy that I do have good nails like that and I'm able to grow them out. And then the other thing I want to mention is that I do not do everything by the book, guys. I know there's like set rules of things you're supposed to do when it comes to doing nail care, but I don't follow them to a T. I've adapted it and I've changed it, to what works for me and what works for my hands. And the routine that I have may not 100% work for you. This is just to let you know what I do, and maybe you can just get some of your own ideas and maybe adapt what you're already doing if you like any of the things that I do. But, this isn't going to work for everybody. This is just what works for me. Okay, so about once a week, and sometimes it's like 9 days or so, but on average about once a week, I take the time to do like a longer anyway type of nail care routine. This is like when I push back my cuticles and do a lot more things to my hands that I don't do on a daily basis. So the first thing that I do, because my nails are longer, I only file them like I said, like once a week. Sometimes I'll even go a little bit longer, and I'll go maybe almost 2 weeks without filing my nails because, again, since they're stronger, I can grow them out longer without them breaking. Sometimes like maybe the corner or something will break off, but honestly, I don't have a lot of problems with my nails breaking. But when I do make them shorter, I don't ever clip them. I always just use a file. I just use any file, typically a coarse file. I could not use glass files because they're not coarse enough to shorten my nails, because my nails are, usually longer and I want to get them relatively shorter. A glass file isn't coarse enough for me, and I would be sitting there all day long trying to get my nails shorter. The reason why I don't clip them is because clipping them gives you more splitting of your nails, gives you more peeling of your nails, and I always mess them up anyway when I clip them, and I have a lot more luck using a file. So the first thing I do, and this is one of the things I don't do by the book, because by the book you're supposed to just go in one direction like this and file your nails. To me, that takes way too long. I just sit here and go back and forth, and I just file straight across. I don't worry about shaping. I'm just worrying about length right now until I get my nails the length that I want. The other thing I want to mention is that I file my nails with my nail polish still on. Sounds kind of silly, but I leave my nail polish on because it's easier for me to see what the length is to make them more uniform. When I don't have polish on them, it's harder for me to see. It's harder for me to make them the same length. Once I have just gone straight across and I got the length off, then I come in with a finer file and I figure out the shaping. My nails aren't round, but they're not completely square either. They're more of a flat top with kind of rounder sides is what I like to do. So I just come in with this file and I just worry about the sides. And the reason I use a finer file is because if I use a coarse one, I'm going to take too much off and it's not going to come out okay. So I just very lightly come in with this and I get the shape that I want. So once that's done, then I will remove my polish and I You know, depending on the type of polish I have on, is going to depend on how I remove it. I tend to always use the pink. I don't have it next to me right now, but it's from Sally's. It's the pink one. It has acetone in it, but it's not 100% acetone. I really like that stuff. It doesn't dry my hands out, but it gets polish off very effectively, and it actually smells really good. Like, you would never think that a remover would smell good, but this one smells really good. So I really like using that one, and I will continue to use that one. If I have glitter on, I'll use acetone, you know, so on and so forth. But so I just take my polish off. Then once my polish is off, I come in and I'm going to buff my nails. I just use a little square buffer, got this at Sally's, and I just come in and I just go back and forth a little bit, and just, not a lot, you're only going to do it a couple of times and you're done. Just enough to kind of make it smooth. If you have ridges, if you have, you know, deeper ridges, it might take a little bit more buffing to get it smooth, but just a little bit to kind of smooth out your nail. Once my buffing is done, then I come in and I'm going to push back my cuticles. Now, I've shown this to you guys, but I'm really enjoying this Blue Cross Cuticle Remover from Sally's. This was $5 for this huge bottle, and I really like it. I had mentioned to you guys, but I'll say it again. I have very thick, stubborn cuticles, and the Sally Hansen stuff just wasn't cutting it out for me anymore. I couldn't. It was taking too long. It wasn't taking all my skin off, and I wasn't enjoying it. This, though, has really been working for me. Now, the only thing that's kind of a downfall with this bottle is it just has this pore spout, and it's really hard to get just a little bit to come out to use on your cuticles, so you just end up like squeezing it all over the place. So I found this handy dandy bottle that I have filled up. I got this bottle on 88 Beauty, and you can see, I mean, this is completely filled, and that's how much it went down. And this is going to last me for so long, you guys, like, it's not even funny. It's going to last forever. And what's so awesome about this bottle is it's a dropper. Again, I got it on 88 Beauty. I think it was like less than $2. I think it was like $1.80 or something like that. So it has this awesome dropper. So I can come in, I squeeze, and I get some product, and then I can just drop it on my cuticles. So this is really nice, and I like having this because I can just leave this, you know, it's much smaller, easier to store than this. So I put this one away and then keep this one out while I'm using it. I do just use a wooden orange stick to push back my cuticles. The ends of it aren't anything fancy. It's just a flat piece, but this is what I use. I know you can get like nicer metal ones. I don't have one. Maybe someday I'll buy one, but for the time being, this works just fine. I do like that it's a little bit of a smaller tip, because then I feel like it's kind of easier to go in and scrape off the dead skin. So whatever, to each their own on the tool you want to use to push back your cuticles, but this is what I choose to use. You can find these everywhere. They're not hard to get. I kind of push back my cuticles twice, if you will. So I first come in with the remover, and I will put a dot on, you know, a couple of my nails. I'll put a little bit of the remover around it, and then I'll just come in and I just very lightly push back my cuticles. I'm not worried about getting any skin off or anything. I'm just worried about pushing them back off my nail. So I just come in lightly and just push it all over my nail. And I do that up to all of my nails. Then once I'm done with that, I come back in and put on more cuticle remover, and then I'm a little more aggressive and a little more rough, and I'm like scraping off dead skin, making sure it's even, getting it all pushed back. I found it's a lot easier to do it that way, because if I come in and I gently push them back first, they're kind of loosened up and the removers had a chance to kind of work. And then when I come back and put even more remover on, then the dead skin comes off a lot easier, and it's a lot easier to get them completely pushed back. Then the next thing that I do is another thing that's not by the books. I do clip my cuticles, but only on the nails that need it, and only sometimes. I use this little pair. The brand is Earth Therapeutics. I bought this years and years ago. I have no idea if you can still get it, but this is like, it looks like nail clippers, but it's actually a cuticle remover, and it has like a pointed edge. I really like this because it's so small and precise, and you can just go in with that little tip, and I just come in like this, and I can clip off what I need to. Since my cuticles are thicker, when I push them back, not all the skin comes off, and sometimes I'll have like a little flyaway, and sometimes I just have like a whole bunch of extra skin that's not attached to me anymore. So it's just kind of hanging out. It didn't come off, it's just sitting there. So that's when I come in and use these, because it's gross to have all that extra skin just sitting there. So I'm not cutting super close. I've never bled or had any problems like that because I'm just cutting off the extra skin. So if you don't have thick cuticles though, guys, you probably don't have to cut them. Once all that's done, my hands are in pretty rough shape. They're pretty dry. They're pretty blah. So I come in with my H2O Plus Spa Hand and Cuticle Scrub, and I just scrub them really well. I just put a little bit of this in my palm. Get my hands, first I get my hands wet. Then I push a little bit of this into my palm, and then I scrub it all over my hands for like a good minute, minute and a half, and then I will go ahead and rinse it off. And the thing that's so awesome about this is it just gets off all that dead skin. It just, you know, softens your hands, and it's just really nice, you know, finishing touch to all the drama, if you will, that you just did to your hands. Once I'm done with that, I come in with a lotion. These are just 2 different lotions that I have. I have like 15 lotions laying around my house that I use, but I always have to have lotion on after I wash my hands. Like I hate how, it sounds so weird, but I hate how my skin feels right after I wash my hands. Even though this made them nice and soft and everything, like I still don't like how it feels because my hands were in contact with water. I'm really weird about that. So I use lotion, but I'm very careful on how I put my lotion on. I do not put lotion on my nails because I'm getting ready to paint my nails, and you don't want to put lotion on. So once I have my lotion applied, then I'm ready to start painting my nails. I am not going to get into detail about how I paint my nails or anything. I am just going to kind of show you the steps that I do quickly. I don't always do this step. This step is optional, but sometimes I will prime my nails. This is a Nail Tech Step 1, cleans, primes, and reinforces. So this is what I'm currently using. It's fine, whatever. I mean, I have nothing, whatever. It's just a primer. But I don't always do this, especially like on the days where I did just do my whole routine and I just washed my hands and I cleaned all that stuff off. I typically won't use this because I just did so many other things to my nails. But when I'm in between doing my big, huge, long nail care routine, if it's just like, you know, where I'm taking my polish off and reapplying, then I usually will use this to get rid of any residue that's on there. And then I actually do apply 2 base coats. I will first apply some type of treatment. Now, like I mentioned, I don't really use a strengthening one, but even though my nails are stronger, they are very dry and they are brittle, so I like to use a hydrating treatment instead. The 2 that I'm kind of interchanging right now, I'm using Essie's Feed Me, which is discontinued, but you can still find it online. And then I'm also using the Nail Tech Formula 3 Protection Plus for dry, brittle nails. And then once I'm done with that, then I will just apply a regular base coat. So, I mean, I have like so many that I go through. I have a Revlon one I'm using. I have the CND I'm using. I have another Revlon one I'm using. So I just have a whole bunch of different base coats. So again, first I put on a treatment and then I put on a base coat. So I do use 2 coats of base coat every single time I do my nails. Then after that, I obviously come in and polish my nails, and then I finish off with a top coat. And as I'm sure most of you know already, I use a lot of different top coats because of my Battle of the Top Coat series. So the top coat that I use that day is just kind of up in the air. It's going to depend on what I'm trying to get through. Then once my nails are completely dry and done and top coat and everything, I come in with some cuticle oil. Right now I'm using the Essie's Apricot Oil, and I come in and I put this on all of my cuticles once I'm done painting my nails, because of the cleanup. Like after I do my cleanup, I use 100% acetone, so my cuticles and the skin around my nails are very dry from that acetone. And as you all know, I take pictures of my nails as soon as I'm done painting them, so I have to come in and hydrate them somehow. So I use this cuticle oil. I put this on and leave it on for about 30 minutes, and then after the 30 minutes I will come and rub it into my skin. Okay, so that seems like a really long process, and it is a little time consuming, but that is what I do when I really need to like do some major TLC to my hands and take care of them. Now in between then, I obviously have daily maintenance. So what I do, I mean, it's nothing complicated and it's really easy. I use lotion, I hydrate my cuticles. That's it. in between manicures, that's all I do. I use any lotion, just kind of, sometimes I'll put lotion on multiple times a day. Sometimes I don't, just depends on what I'm doing that day. And then I always, and I'm not going to say every night because I forget, but I try to remember as much as I can at night to use my lemony flutter. Now, there are lots of different cuticle balms you can get. You do not have to get this one. I know a lot of people rave about this one, but honestly, it's good and I like it, but I don't think it's like the most amazing thing ever. And one thing that no one ever mentions about this product is how greasy it is. It's very thick and greasy, and that's why I only put it on at night, because during the day I just get it all over my hands and it's more of a hassle and a mess for me. The only other thing that I will sometimes do in between my manicures is if I am noticing my cuticles look a little icky or anything, sometimes I'll just come in with my fingernail and I'll just push back my cuticles. I don't do that very often, and I don't use that as a means to actually push them back. I just will do it sometimes in between to help them stay back a little bit longer, I guess, if that makes sense. So really, that's it. So I have like my main routine that I do, but in between like that weekly routine, I don't do a whole lot besides just keeping my hands hydrated, because that's the really important thing to keep your hands from getting dry. You got to keep them hydrated every single day. You need lotion, you need things on your hands so that your skin stays moist. Alright guys, so that was mainly everything I wanted to talk to you about in this video. I really hope that you found this helpful and that it gives you some ideas so that you can maybe alter your nail care routine if you want to. If you have any questions about anything, or if there's anything you want me to elaborate more on, please, ask down below and I will absolutely get back to you. As always, thank you so much for watching. My Instagram and everything will be listed down below for you. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and until next time, peace, love, and polish. Bye!